You're listening to the 3 Batter Minimum Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Britton, Patrick, and Dylan.
Hello and welcome to episode 21 of the 3 Batter Minimum Podcast on the Squib Kick Radio Network. I'm back. I survived my trek into the wilderness of northern Saskatchewan.
That's the sweet and always sultry voice of our very own 3 Batter Minimum host, Britton.
Yeah.
And he almost didn't make it back, so we'd like to hear it. We'd like to hear about your experience without a paddle.
Well, once I got into cell coverage, I listened to the episode you guys put out, and you guys put in the fact that I had sent a message being like, hey, I am stuck in the middle of a lake. And that's what happened. We were out on a lake. We were about 3 miles from shore, and we were just trolling along. All of a sudden, we're like, yeah, get ready to go. And the motor doesn't start. So we sit there for another hour. The one guy we're with is a mechanic. Figure he'll figure it out. Can't figure out why this motor won't start. So by now it's 9:30, and it's the sun starting to set. So we decide to use the trolling motor, which goes like half a mile per hour, if that, to try and get to shore. So we're trying to use that. Then it's just a comedy of errors after this, because we were like, well, why don't we get the paddles out and help the trolling motor along, paddle along. The guy's boat we were in, the floor had rotted out, so we had to go in there and put some plywood and stapled it down, or not stapled, but hammered it down, and the paddles were under the floor.
I was just joking when I said without a paddle.
We couldn't get to the paddles. So we have to keep trolling while it's still light out. This boat goes kind of far out from us. He couldn't see us when he goes by. It's getting darker, and we're like, well, let's use this flare so we can get his attention. So we got the flare out.
Oh, Jesus.
Not what you might think. Got the flare out, and we tried to use it. It wouldn't fire off. The guy looks at the flares. Expired in 1997. So we're like, don't know what's going on here. So at this point, it's pretty dark out. And, of course, the guy's boat we're on, lights don't work either.
Why would they? Well, it's got a plywood floor and 1997 flares, so...
So we're going along, trolling along. Finally, my grandma calls because we're staying at a family cabin. Whole family was there. She's like, "Where are you guys?" And we're like, we're making our way. We'll get there." Anyway, so she hung up. She's like, "Okay." Hung up. Half an hour later, moon's coming up. It's pitch black out. Calls again. She's like, "Are you guys in yet?" We're like, "No, we're close. We're still probably 2.5 miles away because this motor wasn't going as fast as we thought." So eventually, we call. My second cousin was out there. He's a CO officer, so he had to back his boat in, took his boat out, came and towed us from the middle of the lake back to the dock. And then we sat around and drank until 2 a.m. So,
oh my God. Good God. I would have been freaking out.
Now, luckily, the lake was calm. There wasn't a lot of wind. If there was waves, we would have been staying a night on an island.
Oh my God. Yeah, northern Sask lakes kind of freak me out. I don't know. There's just something about the real wilderness of the boreal forest. And if I'm there and the sun is going down and the boat's not moving and we're out in the middle of this lake, I'm losing it. I don't know if I would have been lying on the plywood floor of this boat shaking.
We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. I mean, you gotta see the moon come up. The bugs were getting a little out there. They were getting gross. And of course, we didn't have sunscreen, or not sunscreen, bug spray. But the worst part about all this, we hadn't even been drinking. We were all sober.
Hey, understanding the rules of the lake.
Absolutely.
That's what we like to do.
But anyway, I nearly died.
And I think this is where I take the reins and I say, we are a baseball podcast.
This is a baseball podcast. It's a good thing you're listening to a baseball podcast right now.
So we're going to get...
I was going to say, apparently while I was at the lake, dick pills in the MLB became a thing.
Boner pills,
Yeah.
boner pills, boner pills. It's bad to clap near the mic, but I just did it. So boner pills, boner pills, boner pills.
Yep.
I feel like we're on an episode of that Barstool, that Call Her Daddy thing. But what I wanted to say about boner pills is I think, I'm just throwing out some alleged stuff here. So we read that Jeff Passan, MLB reporter, believe it's for ESPN, he's saying that MLB has put out a notice to say that guys are getting busted because of male enhancement pills. So
From the gas station.
Yeah, from the gas station.
male enhancement pills.
So, and this has happened to major leaguers, and Major League Baseball, in a memo, has warned them and said it's a, quote, very real risk, end quote, of over-the-counter sexual enhancement pills after at least 2 players this year were suspended for performance-enhancing drugs, and said the banned substances found in their urine came from the unregulated products. Sources familiar with the situation told ESPN. So I want to just look at the list of guys that are suspended and figure out who it is. But I'm thinking one guy on my list suspended 80 games this year. Might have screwed my fantasy team. Needed that arm. Frankie Montas. That guy's got the diesel no matter what. He's throwing hard. He's a thicker guy. He's throwing hard no matter what for the A's. I'm thinking it's a long road trip.
They're out in Oakland.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to make these trips to the Rockies, to the D-backs. Those are NL teams, now that I'm saying it out loud. But to see Seattle and down to Southern California.
They're going everywhere.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what happens. Also, another little either PED kind of little thing going on. People are thinking maybe this is what has made Chris Davis not as good anymore. So either Frankie Montas. Well,
he's taking the pills and they're making him not as good, or
no,
he was
not
he
taking
was,
the pills.
He needs the
he needs the pills
to be good at baseball.
He's slapping
and
it
other
around.
stuff.
It's not happening. And so he was taking the pills and it's not working. Or we get rid of these pills altogether, and they were both just juicing, and he sees his buddy pee in a cup and get screwed, and now he's like, well, it's pee cup time for me, and he stops juicing, and now he's afraid, and that's why he sucked. So I don't know. Thoughts on boner pills, guys?
So if Chris Davis was taking boner pills, if a game went more than 4 hours, he'd have to call a doctor? Is that what?
Totally. That's good job. If your home run goes more than 400 feet, call a doctor. Yeah.
I think my popular aphrodisiac, I believe in some Asian countries. I've seen this on a popular travel show I like to watch. Deer penis. Pretty sure deer penis, not a banned substance in the MLB. That's the thing. These guys just got to start eating deer penis if they need these aphrodisiacs.
Did Anthony Bourdain say this or something?
You bet. I think he ate it. I'm fairly certain, probably no reservations. It was a while ago. But
some Rocky Mountain oysters?
Yeah, I bet Rocky Mountain oysters work fine. Anybody else? Is there anyone suspended on the Rockies this year? Probably not.
Nope.
So that's where they don't need to stop for gas station male enhancement pills.
They are stinking it up in the bottom of their division, but
nobody's testing positive.
Yeah, maybe that's the Nolan Arenado go-to. Just some Rocky Mountain oysters.
Anyway, boner pills was a thing in the MLB while I was gone, and it took over. But let's get into what's going on now, because we can always try and think about who was taking boner pills in the MLB.
We can think about that whenever we want.
Is there a Vegas
What's the spread?
Yeah.
What's happening this weekend in the MLB was, of course, Players Weekend was this weekend. They had some much maligned uniforms on, these all white and all black ensembles. A lot of people said it looked like there were 13 umpires out there. 13 umpires playing 13 I don't know, stormtroopers or wedding brides. The all white was also very strange.
Yeah.
Psychiatric ward nurses or something. It was a strange sight to watch. But we're going to have a quiz based on Players Weekend. And Players Weekend nicknames. On the back of those awful jerseys, they adorn them with nicknames. And what I am going to challenge Dylan and Britton here to do today is I will give them a nickname and a team. So you get the team. So you get, because I first wrote it and I was like, there is no way these guys get these nicknames. So I'm giving you the team. I'll give you twice. You can ask for a hitter or pitcher to narrow it down. You can do it twice with 2 of your 5 names that you get, and you got to tell me who the player is.
It's going to be bad.
So I tried to keep it simple. There's a couple that are going to be a little bit harder, but I think if you use your noggins, you'll get there. Okay, so Dylan, you're 3-0 in quizzes. Would you like to go first or second?
I'm going to go first because Dylan likes having the hammer every time. Let's just take the hammer away.
Okay, Britton, the Milkman.
Well, that's Melky Cabrera.
Yeah, I didn't even have to say Pirates. He got
That's
it.
an easy one.
1-0 Britton. Okay.
I should have taken that.
You should have.
That was a softball.
Dylan, Pico de Gallo.
Oh,
Texas Rangers.
Joey Gallo.
Joey Gallo. He doesn't even need the team either. All right, so we're tied up at 1. Britton, back to you. Baby Doll, Colorado Rockies.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Baby Doll.
Baby doll?
Baby
Colorado Rockies.
Doll.
Come on.
Oh,
Is it
Dylan.
Nolan Arenado?
Oh, no.
It's David Dahl.
It's David Dahl. Yep. So Dylan with a chance to steal away the lead here. Chef G. Houston Astros.
George Springer?
Garrett Cole.
Garrett.
Chef. Nice.
All right, we're tied at 1 here. You guys haven't used either of your options to narrow it down to hitter or pitcher. Britton,
won't help me.
Britton, back to you. Mr. Seeds, the Toronto Blue Jays.
Mr. Seeds?
Mr. Seeds.
Tough one. They just throw seeds everywhere, but there is a specific guy.
Oh, Dylan knows it too.
Dylan knows it.
Oh,
I don't watch a lot of Blue Jays baseball. I'm not a Blue Jays fan.
Yeah, you're an old man who watches the NL.
Yeah, I am indeed. Okay, is it a pitcher or a hitter?
It's a hitter.
Is it Bo Bichette?
It is not. It's Teoscar Hernandez.
Teoscar.
Yeah. Apparently, so the story behind that is that he's famous for when a player hits a home run, he'll follow them down the dugout and throw seeds.
You know, I remember seeing a clip about that now. I think Vladdy hit a home run and it showed him tossing seeds at his face. And I was like, what's going on here?
All right, we're still knotted up at 1. Dylan, this is a personal favorite of mine. Jerk Store. LA Dodgers.
Jerk Store.
Jerk Store. Personally, I hope this is a Seinfeld reference to George Costanza's famous...
I'll use my lifeline here. Is it a batter or...
It's a batter.
Max Muncy?
I'm sorry. The Jerk Store called. They're running out of Jed Giorco.
Oh, Jeff. Oh, my God. I forgot that guy even played.
We're knotted at 1 here, but you guys are making some good guesses. Britton, this one plays on some irony. I'll give you a hint. Plays on some irony. The Babe, Seattle Mariners.
Oh, I saw this jersey in a photo.
Oh, my God. I think I heard
this was...
Oh, it's on Tim Britton's tongue.
This was all happening while I didn't... Oh, I'm trying to make excuses, but I just can't think of it. I'm drawing a blank on the name.
This is going to hurt if he doesn't get it, and I tell him who it is.
I know. Hitter or pitcher?
Hitter.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought I used it anyway. Little Babe.
The Babe.
The Babe.
The Babe. Dylan, are you okay if I give him a small hint?
Yes.
You might have gotten a trade offer from Dylan for this guy earlier in the year. Dylan had him. Selling high.
Now Nate's got him, maybe?
Is it? I'm probably going to screw up. This guy might not even play on the Mariners. Domingo Santana?
He plays in the outfield there.
Yeah.
That's right. It's actually Dan Vogelbach.
It's Dan Vogelbach. Dylan's got
He's a big man.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Dan, for
Okay.
calling you a fat pig, but
So
You're right. I remember
it.
seeing him. I was like, oh, I can't picture exactly who was wearing it.
So, Dylan, it's coming back to you here. Now, the final two, each of your last ones are more simple, but Dylan, this is going to be your last real tough one. Chubbs Sr., San Diego Padres.
What?
Chubbs Sr.
Oh, man. Okay, so he used the second lifeline there, right?
Yeah.
I'll use my second lifeline.
This guy is a pitcher.
Oh, dang. Chubb Sr. Oh.
Dylan really should have taken the first batch.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
brain
it's-
is just
He'd be crushing
hurting.
me
He would
right
be.
now.
I literally can only think of one pitcher right now on the Padres, and I know it's not him because he's the sheriff.
We could use this time to talk about how Andrew Luck surprisingly retired from the
Yeah,
NFL
and
this
talk
weekend.
about
That was
how
pretty crazy.
people booed him.
People booed him. Yeah, that
People
kind
booed
of
him.
sucks.
Yeah,
You know, well, Raptors fans booed when Durant got hurt.
And
And
that's fair. And
Okay, what was the name?
Chubbs Senior.
Chubb Sr.
Chubbs Senior. Now, not senior.
are we that lacking on content this week? We're trying to just fill time with
No, this is quality, high quality
Yeah,
content.
this is killing me.
It's not senior.
It's literally senior?
It's senior.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone, so I'm going to say Chris Paddock. It's not him, though.
It's not. It is Kirby Yates.
Kirby Yates.
Wow.
I had a freak out there for a second that he was traded, but then I realized when I made this, I was looking at a list of guys who played this weekend for their team. So I was like, of course he's still on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, Britton. Now this is one. I know you said you didn't watch a lot of Blue Jays baseball, but this guy doesn't play for the Jays anymore. He plays for the Rays. Nerd power.
So easy.
Nerd power.
Nerd power. This is big on Jay's Twitter.
Yeah.
Nerd. It's technically
like 32.
technically it's nerd power. Nerd face emoji.
Yeah.
He's a dad. He's a smaller guy. He used to play for the A's.
I don't even know-
We kind of
Is-
thought his career was over. And then
I don't know why
he
Eric
started-
Sogard's coming into my
He
head.
got it. He got it. Britton
Is that where he's at now? It's like Eric Sogard
Now-
was the first name that popped in my head.
I got a feeling we're going to the tie break here because Dylan's going to get his last one because it's a match made in heaven for him. TA7, Chicago White Sox.
Fuck off, Tim Anderson.
It is. It's Tim Anderson of the famous Dylan Istash and Tim Anderson beef on Instagram. So we're going to a tie break. Now, what we're doing for a tie break here is I have a chart from Cut 4 pulled up on the screen here. And it has one dot for every single player nickname this weekend. And they divided them up into categories, and the dots are colored based on different categories. We have classic, nicknames based on initials, nicknames based on hyphens, tribute nicknames. Here's what I would like from you guys. There are about 1,600 dots in this graph. Closest without going over, tell me how many nicknames this weekend were simply player name ending in Y. The classic hockey nickname.
Player name ending in Y.
Like Aaron Sanchez is Sanji.
Something like that.
And there's around
Schmitty.
1,600. So
There's about
that's
1,600 dots. So it's got to be... And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different categories of nicknames that they divided them into.
I am going to go 528.
Damn it, I wanted to go lower than that. Okay, I'm 420.
Now, here's the thing. I did say closest without going over, but you both went over.
Damn it.
So does no one win?
Does no one win? Or do we go to my other tiebreak that I...
Yeah, we go to the other
What was the actual...
The number is 240.
I was 420. I'm dyslexic.
Wow.
No. Oh, yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Now, our other tiebreak is completely unrelated to Players Weekend, but it is related to a tiebreak we had earlier in the season.
Oh my god.
Which was... Now, I can't remember precisely which show it was, but the tiebreak to the quiz was, how many home runs in total have been hit to that point in the season. I believe we were doing this quiz in like mid to late May. The number at that time was 2,755. So I ask you now, how many home runs have been hit to this point in the season here at the end of August?
I would go 9,842.
5,691.
You both went over again, but obviously Dylan is closer.
Dylan would be closer.
He's significantly closer at 5,486.
Oh, for some reason I had 5,600
You were very, very close. I mean, you were within a couple hundred. So Dylan, 4-0 in the quiz.
Da-da-da.
I mean, it probably should have worked out that way anyway because he had almost all of Britton's answers.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
So I can't believe you tossed a couple former Jays in there, but couldn't give me Javi Baez, El Mago.
You know what? I think I just scrolled past the Cubs. I never even looked at their nicknames. I was just kind of scrolling down the page, stopping on
Stupid A,
teams.
stupid B, stupid C.
KB, whatever. Anyway, let's move on to what's happening around the league. Then we'll start with the AL East, where the Jays, to no one's surprise, are not good.
They were good for a little bit.
No, they had a decent stretch, sure. But
Yeah, they were on a good little stretch, and the one thing that I'd say is, does Dylan leave today? He leaves soon, maybe this weekend.
I think Well, no. He's missing. He's missing our fantasy football draft.
So he leaves this weekend. So that's a thing. So we got Dylan from our league, not playoff making Dylan, going to
Different Dylan.
to Toronto. He's gonna see a healthy Vlad, a healthy Bo, so that's good. Knock on wood that they stay healthy. But Vlad, it was looking dicey there for a moment. I think I don't know where I saw this, so just out of left field here, but saw something where maybe it was like a rival exec or something, or somewhere maybe it was just like a Jays insider type thing. But they're like, Jays get a couple arms. They're filthy right now. Like if they had good arms this second, they'd be nasty. Just with the offense that the young kids can generate. I was like, yeah, I feel that. I really do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think, anyone's good with the Astros pitching. Like, understandable.
Yeah.
But like, I think the Jays would be outstanding with that. So if you put it around on if everyone had the Astros pitching, where would you be? Jays would be a top 10 team in the league.
the offensive talent, you can't argue with what they do have in Toronto with all those guys. You're right. It's the pitching's the main thing. Pitching's the main thing, and probably a little bit more outfield help.
Yeah,
defensively, there's still some holes there. Like, is Vladdy your third baseman, or do you have to move him to first? Is he who you want there? Because I've heard rumblings.
First, bad third.
We get him a dietitian. We're good.
I've heard, like I said, I've heard just rumblings, listening to some Jays radio every now and then, that Vladdy might, if he isn't who you want at third base, you have to move him to first. Where does that leave other guys in the system? So
yeah.
Because I don't think they want to just make him a DH. I do not think they want to make Vladdy a DH.
No, that's a waste.
And it's too much time. Like, you do that late in your career, but you need that because guys can't sit there that long. Some guys just aren't meant to do it at all. So, except for Kendrys Morales because he jumped on the plate and broke his leg.
Baltimore Orioles.
You're out. Worse than the Blue Jays.
They're out of here.
They're done. No longer in the playoff race. They weren't really in the playoff race in May.
It was like April 3rd, and they were out of it. So.
Now they're officially out.
Yikes.
Red Sox 6 back of the wild card. Last week it was still 6. They haven't really gained any ground, I think. Is it over? Is it over?
No. I'm feeling that I can get close. I don't know that they can overcome, but I think it's going to get real close. And I say that because my fantasy team depends on it.
Fair enough.
I'm holding on to Rick Porcello right now because I'm feeling him doing some stuff that he did last year. Hoping David Price can get right for them. I don't have him, but I'd like to see him get right for them. Those guys were a big part of last season. And then Jesus Dong, JD Martinez. He's been hot lately. Been riding a real hot bat. So that's why I'm holding out hope, is strictly for my fantasy team.
That's fair. That's a fair reason too.
Yeah.
I don't think they're catching them. They might bring it within, I think 3 games is probably where they're going to finish. But I think we'll talk about it in a little bit, the injury to Jose Ramirez, I think the Oakland A's are going to sneak in as that second wildcard team.
I guess we should talk about the AL wildcard race real quick. It's much less exciting than the NL one. But yeah, the Oakland A's are a half game back right now of the Tampa Bay Rays, who have that second wildcard. Cleveland is only a half game up on the Rays. And then, of course, the Yankees are handedly winning that division. They're 9 games up on the Rays. Minnesota is 3.5 up on Cleveland. And Houston is going to walk away with the AL West.
Which we all kind of figured, especially after the trades they made at the deadline.
Yeah, I don't know. So how far are the Red Sox
Red Sox
of
are
Tampa?
They would be 6 back of Tampa.
Okay, they're 6 back of Tampa.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I haven't checked how many games they have against each other, but I give a chance to the Red Sox there. I would be happy seeing it be Red Sox and A's for the wild card. I guess I would like that.
We can't really count out the defending champions until they're mathematically eliminated, right?
Not at all. But I am counting out the Cleveland Indians right now. No Jose Ramirez. See you later. I just don't see it. They traded away Trevor Bauer. Carlos Carrasco is going to be pitching from the pen. Yes, Clevenger's healthy. I think Kluber's pretty much there. But Plesac has been good for them, and Aaron Savelli, he's been good too, but I just don't really see it. I think Jose Ramirez was starting to play like the guy he has been the last couple of seasons, and without him, that broken hamate bone, that's a 4 to 6 week injury. It saps your power very often when you come back, especially depending on which hand it is. So. I just don't see it happening for them.
Yeah, I'm with Dylan kind of there. I think it's the Rays and the A's are going to be your wildcard teams.
Yeah, that sounds like fun to me. Before we move on, talk about the Oakland Athletics and the little call-up they had this week. We just have to note the Detroit Tigers. You're out!
They're also out. They are also out.
Once again, shocking.
Hey, we gotta say it. Gotta say it.
What to note about the Detroit Tigers? I think Pat and I did it last weekend.
Yeah.
You can't name any of their players.
Lugo. D. Lugo. They have D. Lugo.
Still don't know. Nate could tell us. We should have him on again. One thing to say about them is Casey Mize has been shut down for the rest of the season, so no point in bringing him up.
No.
There's absolutely zero. So, he's trying to get his health right. Big 2020 guy, maybe a late round guy.
Yeah.
A la, who did Meacher have this year? He didn't have Max Fried. He had good Canadian boy, good Canadian boy, good Canadian
Soroka?
boy.
Mike Soroka?
Yeah, Mike Soroka.
Yeah.
There we go, yeah. So that was a later pick. Something like that. Or maybe he's like your 2021 Shane Bieber type, who, comes in the end of 2020, pretty good, and then he's a monster this year. So Casey Mize, someone exciting for the future, but the Tigers suck.
So let me just write that down because my fantasy season's been done this year for a while.
Oh, then you can pay attention for 3 weeks next April.
Hey, I think I lost week 4 this time. It was a whole month.
That's true. Oakland Athletics called up left-handed power hitter Seth Brown, who had 37 home runs with AAA Las Vegas. They placed Steven Piscotty on the IL with a sprained right ankle.
Yeah, Steven Piscotty playing in the Oakland area. His mom had some health issues. I think I'm saying had because I believe she ended up passing. But yeah, he was a St. Louis Cardinal, so that was kind of what brought him there. Piscotty looking like a pretty good outfielder for them. That really, it hurts to not have him, but we'll see if Seth Brown's power translates into the bigs. Maybe he can learn to pick up the slack that Chris Davis is leaving. I will say that Yahoo does not have Seth Brown loaded in yet. I don't believe. So depending on your league, that's going to take a couple of days if they add him tonight. Then he'll have to clear waivers on your league so you can put in waivers, so whoever has priority, maybe worth a speculative ad. Seth Brown.
So this is a case of a veteran gets injured, young guy, come up, show us what you got. That's all this really is.
This happened a couple of years ago. I don't think it was over an injury, but it was when Matt Olson got called up late in the season, and it was the same year that Rhys Hoskins got called up late in the season. I bring this up all the time because they were monsters for me. They won me a league. They both had like 16 to 18 home runs down the stretch. It was just disgusting, and it was fantasy gold. Kind of like what Aquino's been doing. Hopefully he can do it again in a couple of weeks. But yeah, just that fantasy gold late in the year, that's what you live for.
Yeah, why not? Once he gets added, take a flyer on him. He could be a league winner if he can translate it. So
yeah, totally could.
Should we head over to the NL?
Let's head to the NL.
NL. Okay, so let's NL wild card race right now. So silence. The divisions look as such. The Atlanta Braves have a 5.5 game lead on the Nats in the NL East. The Cardinals have a 2.5 game lead on the Cubs in the Central. And the Dodgers have a country mile on everyone else in that division. So that doesn't matter. Dodgers winning that division. It's over.
You're calling it?
The Rockies, you guys, I think they got it.
I'm calling it.
Guaranteed.
That's the Pat stamp of approval. Guaranteed. Dodgers win that division. First wild card in the NL, Washington Nationals have a 4-game lead on it right now. They just swept the Cubs for the first time at Wrigley since 2005. So good for them. In the second wild card belongs to Britton's Chicago Cubs by a slim margin. You might say, because the Philadelphia Phillies are just 1.5 games back. The New York Mets and the Milwaukee Brewers are both 2 back, and everyone wants the Brewers in ahead of the Cubs. Like, literally everyone except for Cubs fans wants the Brewers in ahead of the Cubs. And the San Francisco Giants are 4 back, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are 4.5 back. So what are we making of that situation?
Well, are we talking about the East? Or are we talking about? We'll get to the Cubs in a little bit.
Let's talk about the wild card.
Let's talk about the wild card. It's about what we were almost expecting. We figured
it's messy.
Brewers and Cubs, they could get in. We wouldn't be surprised. We said the NL Central was probably putting in 3 teams this year.
With the Nats up 4 on that first wild card, though, I mean, it's looking like only one of those 2 teams is going to make it.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the Oakland Athletics game because it's 14-2 in the bottom of the 5th, and Marcus Semien is 2 for 4 right now and has 6 runs batted in. What's of note about this is that he has a home run and a triple. So he's left the double and the single, and he should get 2 more ABs.
We're on cycle watch.
Are the away team. So Marcus Semien, good chance here.
Bicycle.
And young Seth Brown has 2 singles, 2 runs scored, and a ribby. But and he struck out once and left 3 on. So a 500 start for Seth Brown.
Fair enough.
Yeah, back to what we were actually talking about.
Cycle watch is a thing.
We were whispering cycle watch.
But, Washington was a team who at the beginning of the season, I know you guys had little to no faith in them after what they lost. And I was kind of like, well, this might be an addition by subtraction. You know, Bryce Harper, love Bryce Harper. Thinks he's one of the best ball players in the world. I love his attitude. But I know it doesn't translate well into some certain ball.
Wait until you're 50.
Wait till I'm 50. Yeah. Damn, Bryce Harper dyeing his hair and stuff.
It's not what ball players do.
So. But it's exciting. The NL always has an exciting wild card race. It seems
it's true.
So
yeah,
I think the Cubs and Brewers will both make it by the end of this. I think Washington might fall off, but
he's wrong.
I mean, I would love. If I wasn't a Jays fan, I would be a Cardinals fan. But I follow the Brewers on Instagram because I also, before Biogenesis, Ryan Braun was my guy. I love Ryan Braun. So
did Ryan Braun just have some gas station dick pills? We sure it wasn't just that?
His 100%. I'm almost finished watching Screwball. His name was on the list with A-Rod. Totally, he sucks. He was doing it in the University of Miami. He was a big Biogenesis guy. But
okay.
I would love to see the Brew Crew and Elite Pete Alonso and the Mets make
Mets.
it.
Interesting.
Need the Mets. Here's what I'm saying.
Don't think it'll happen.
Washington Nationals, Philadelphia Phillies,
Oh my god.
one game, wild card.
Bryce Harper.
Bryce
In
Harper struck
Washington.
out 4 times against Max Scherzer. End of story, done.
It's either that or it's Harper walk-off.
Yeah.
And then just a whole week of Bryce Harper's attitude. Didn't like the way he, because he'll do something to the Nats.
Oh, he hits that walk off.
Right?
He's flipping the bat.
Yeah,
and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
how dare he show emotion?
We might be in line for the second best bat flip ever if that happens.
I mean, probably.
maybe the best.
Yeah, considering most baseball fans outside of Canada hate Jose Bautista.
Some inside Canada.
Yeah,
as he
like
puts up
many
his hand.
people don't like him at all.
Yeah, 'cause,
so
yeah.
I'd say, like, even though people don't like Bryce Harper, more people don't like Jose Bautista. More in the baseball world for sure.
I think you're right. I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a tight race. We're going to be talking about it week in, week out until we get to the actual playoffs.
And on that note, we should talk about fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, there's nothing really else to touch on other than the crazy, crazy wild card race that is the in the NL. But fantasy baseball, you love it. You followed our
What
league.
about Ronald Acuna Jr.? Can we just appreciate what he's been able to do?
Oh,
Oh, it's good.
the infograph. I sent this to Pat earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
And can we also look back now at that contract he signed and how God...
Yeah, who's his agent? Fire him now. Fire him now. Yeah.
Like, I was just thinking, like, I saw how great he was doing. I'm like, isn't he the guy who was, like, probably... who signed for just dirt cheap for a long time? And yep, man, the Braves are going to enjoy him.
So, love these stats. Through their first 242 career games, you got Mike Trout, 306 average, 914 OPS, 45 dingers, 67 stolen bases, fleet of foot Mike Trout, and 139 driven in. I'd like to know how many runs each of them have, because that's not on here. Then, for comparison's sake, we got the average of Acuna Jr., 293, 911 OPS, 62 home runs, 46 stolen bases, and 153 ribbies. So, next year, maybe that's your number 2 guy that gets drafted in fantasy. Always got to take Mike Trout, number 1.
I think it's very possible, yeah.
So now we move to our fantasy rundown. So our fantasy squad, our fantasy league, it's looking like it's locked in for playoffs. We don't have the exact spots of these guys, but it's going to be probably Meacher and then me, because I'm giving myself an L this week. So we're both getting buys. Then we got, right now as it sits, is Chan, number 3 versus number 6 Jet, and then Pat, number 4 versus Kenny, number 5. So just want to get your guys' thoughts on what are the best parts of each team. So Meacher, pitching. I think we all agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, Meacher pitching. Chan has, we've talked about it many times before, the chaos factor. There's like a psychological thing. It's not really about who he's starting and who he's not. There's just something about, like,
That's so true.
You're playing Chan, and you're just like, oh, I don't know if I should start Zach Wheeler this week, and then you take him out of your lineup when he's starting, and you're like, oh, why did I do that? And then Chan wins, and you have no idea why. But that's just the way it goes when you play Chan in fantasy sports. For Chan, I mean, like, he's got pretty good bats, especially if they're on. He's got guys like Harper,
He
Turner,
has Bichette, Turner,
Bichette.
Lindor. He's got a lot of speed.
Springer.
Whit Merrifield.
Yeah.
Tons of speed. The steals are killing you here. One thing of note is, will Wilson Contreras get healthy? Will he drop Joey Gallo for playoffs? How many guys will he ride on that batter bench? And that German Marquez may be shut down for the season.
I was going to say, German Marquez moved the 10-day DL, so that's a big blow to his pitching. He's got Greinke,
Maeda.
Keuchel. Not much. He needs to get to work on that. He might his pitching is in worse shape than mine right now, and that's saying something because mine is not great.
Yeah, that's your. So moving on to, we'll go to yours next. Yeah, your pitching is butt. Matt Carpenter hasn't done much for you since you've picked him up.
I'm kind of stuck in this first base limbo with Voit out. It's I got to find somebody else.
You have a lot of bench batters. Not a strategy I suggest in
I
playoffs.
3 bench batters and 2 bench pitchers. I just got 2 bench guys in the DL, but I got to drop someone because McNeil came off the DL. But I do need to find another pitcher because mine obviously aren't looking great right now.
Nope.
Jet has a pretty solid squad. His this Hunter Renfroe, Gene Segura, Danny Santana thing, though, that's a no for me. He's rotating these guys through his utility. He's going to need to find a player that is better than those guys. Renfroe went on an absolute tear, but he's been like garbage lately.
Maybe Jet should take a chance on Seth Brown.
Maybe
he should take a look at him.
Does he have the highest waiver priority in our league? I'm 7th. We got ring dat bell. Kenny's going to be all over that. So
If Ken listens to the pod.
yeah, Kenny, and then
Maybe
the
we
next
just should
playoff
not
team is
upload this until Seth Brown's clear.
it'd be Kenny, and then next would be Meacher, then myself, then Pat. And then Jet actually has the least priority for... He doesn't have playoffs yet, but really he does. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of moves that need to be made in here. It's real interesting for old Jet. I think he needs to get better batters. His pitching's pretty good. Kenny, it's between Kenny and Pat's teams for the teams I'd most like to face in the playoffs. I'm probably going to say, I said earlier that I'd rather face Kenny's team. I'd rather face Pat's team because Kenny's did give me my 4th loss yesterday. Sonny Gray's been lights out. He's got Patty Corbin. He's got Vasquez and Yates. Is that Dakota or Daniel Hudson? Dakota Hudson, yes, has been really good. And then he's also got Price and Glasnow possibly getting healthy. And then Hendricks and Syndergaard. There's a lot of arms there.
A lot of arms. Dylan Bundy.
Point though. I beat Dylan both times I've played him this year.
Really?
Yeah, I'm 2-0 against you there, bud.
Wow.
So
I'm 16-4. So does it really matter?
Speaking of things, shout out to Riley from the Squib Kick for winning a week.
Yeah,
Riley, big time spoiler.
Yeah,
Ends Nate's playoff
the
hopes.
biggest spoiler of all. Like that was that. I don't even know what to say.
Comes out of the woodwork.
All I can really say is.
So, congratulations, Riley, on playing spoiler.
Yeah, that's incredible. He showed up to play last week. That's what we like to see. I love seeing that Drayton's adding and dropping guys too.
Yet somehow I have a better record than him, which blows my mind. But
Yeah, he just gave me his team.
Because you're
the
bad
fix
at
is
this.
in.
The fix is in.
I do have to say, my 2 things, I picked up Gavin Lux. Pretty happy about that. He might get in. He might get called up. Ken Rosenthal saying the Dodgers are considering promoting their young shortstop prospect. He hits dingers. He's got some speed factor. He's got a lot of good tools. What do you guys think of my team? Where's the good? Where's the bad? Or is it just kind of a balance?
The good with you is that
route.
you are constantly updating your team, which sucks for everyone else. But you always find people at 2:30 in the morning when waivers clear. You're like, oh, who can I pick up?
Yeah, I mean, you got a strong team here of a lot of guys that you might not have necessarily thought would be leading to a strong team at the beginning of the year. I mean, Keston Huria, Pete Alonso, of course, which I'll always go back to that first waiver week when I just missed out on him just a little bit. Aquino, you got the Punisher. I mean, you get now Gavin Lux is probably going to come up, and if you're not in our fantasy league, and Gavin Lux is probably available in your league because he's at what? 15% owned?
Yeah.
So 85% of leagues out there, quick math for you, go out there, get Gavin Lux, because Dylan just picked him up, and that means he's probably going to have like 3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, like
If he
8 runs batted in. Oh, he's going to get called up now and screw all of us.
Yeah.
I think it's just you could always use more pitching in playoffs, right? That's the thing when you get to fantasy playoffs. The more pitching you have, the better.
And Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, are we moving on to who I think is going to win?
Yes, we are. We're going to give, each of you is going to give your winner, and then just your dark horse guy that we're not thinking about that could win.
Okay, so because Dylan eventually has to lose a fantasy league, I think Meecher's going to do it. He was real close last year. Like we always say, he's played fantasy for longer than most of us have even been able to work a computer.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be Meecher. Just, he's always been good. And then for my dark horse, I have to go with the chaos factor in Chan.
It's fair.
Do it.
Like, coming into the season, so to get Chan into this league, we were needing one more guy. We had another guy who was in Brock who said, I could, if you guys can't find anyone, I'll play again. But Dylan really was like, no, it's fine, so he's going to be active and stuff. Met Chan at a pub in Regina, and we're like, Chan, do you know much about baseball? He's like, all right, I could do all right. You want to do fantasy baseball? He wouldn't want to do it at first, but we eventually got him to sign up and do it, and look at him go.
Yeah, I mean, this is... I wish I could just have the reckless abandon that this man plays fantasy sports with, because...
Man, he dropped Patrick Corbin.
And he's
still third in the league.
You know, now on that note, I'm going to go with my winner. My winner
Is you?
is Chan.
Oh.
My pick to win is Chan here.
Clear-cut winner.
My winner is Chan. I really think that this is going to happen. Here's my dark horse, though. It's me. I'm the dark
We
horse.
just disrespected you?
Hell yeah, because it's pretty obvious that it's either me or Ken that are the true dark horses, the guys with really bad teams.
Yeah, like I think you have no chance. I don't even, we'll probably face off in the first bit and he'll just crush me by like 80.
That's what they said about the Blue Jackets. That's what they said. They said Rudy couldn't make Notre Dame, and he did.
This is like...
they're going to make movies about your underdogs.
They're gonna,
Feel the dreams, too.
The Rinky Dink Fantasy League 101.
John Mulaney will play me.
So my clear-cut winner is also Meecher, and my underdog who could win it all, Jet, not much of an underdog. I realize he might come in as our last seed in this, but I think he's got a great team. It's kind of boom or bust, but I think like it might just boom. It might just boom and knock everyone out and just topple towers.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
Quick things on who to grab. Gavin Lux, again, he's 15% owned. Adam Eaton, he's been a monster in the last 2 weeks. 16 runs scored, 5 home runs, 13 ribbies. Colby, holy, can't say words, Allard. In the last 2 weeks, he's got 2 wins. He's got 17 innings pitched, 9 earned, yikes, but 16 Ks, we like that, and a quality start. Tim Melville today, he's 4% owned. He went 5 innings, 6 Ks, none earned, plays for the Rockies. Biggest thing, I was trying to do this, like, who to pick up. There's no one. It's so scarce out there.
It's barren.
Like, you look for the prospects and you throw flyers out on them and you hope. As far as pitching, like, good luck. I don't know, evaluate the last 2 weeks.
It's been hard.
The only thing that I can say is there's a distinct, obviously, that bye, huge advantage to me and Mitchell. And this week, for me, him and Chan, and, well, I guess for really everyone that isn't jockeying for a better matchup, because like maybe you want to face Pat, maybe you want to face Ken, I don't know what you're trying to jockey for, but for me and Meech especially, we got 2 weeks to just sit there and fine tune and, you know, add, drop,
overthink.
Is this the guy? Yeah, that's what'll happen to me.
Micromanage.
Yeah, Lucas Giolito dropped. Sonny Gray dropped. Yasiel Puig dropped.
Digging way too far into the numbers.
Yeah.
Who's Chan going to drop next? We don't know.
Yeah, I'll be there waiting in the wings. Don't want to use my waiver wire pickup on Seth Brown because I'm waiting for Chan to do a silly drop next week. So, yeah, just if you have the luxury of having a bye, use all those ads and drops, but use them wisely. You don't have to use them all, but if you are going to, just be wise about it. Don't drop a great player. Like me, I can drop Chris Taylor. Do I need to go dropping Chris Davis? Probably not. Let him play it out for the next 2 weeks. If he's terrible in my first round playoff matchup, I only got 2 weeks to try and win it, right?
Yeah.
You can drop him that week, and can he really come back to haunt you the last week?
Ooh. Wouldn't that
Watch
be fun?
what you do out there, people.
Yep.
On episode 3 or 4, I did a live trade on the pod, traded away Nolan Arenado. It hasn't been that bad. But scary things can happen. So, fantasy players beware. And I think this is it for
That's the
3
end of
batter
the show.
minimum. Going to give a shout out to the newest guys on the network, Shooters Shoot Pod. So we got some
Spiffy
football,
new
we got
logo.
some basketball. They got a spiffy new logo from Pat's brother. You got us. We're taking over the world.
This is the biggest sports
When's
podcast.
the cricket podcast start?
Hey, we
That's
could do
what I
a
want to know.
Chan?
We could do a cricket pod.
We could,
Got Robbie. Robbie could do
got
cricket. What do you guys want to do? 50 over? 20 over?
That's the wicket.
That's the wicket. That's all we got. Enjoy fantasy playoffs and enjoy the actual MLB playoffs. We're getting there. It's a long season, but the best is yet to come.
And if you're listening to this in northern Saskatchewan on a shitty boat,
A plywood boat.
don't put the oars underneath the plywood. Words of advice. Bye.